Hey folks, I'm totally not named Dan, though you can call me that if you want. And today I'm back again for another deck list video, but this one's not my deck, so let's bring in the person it belongs to.
Hello everyone, it's me again.
Hey Joda. Yep. And you're back to talk to us about your Deku 2 deck, right?
Yep, love the deck. It's great.
Yeah, I strongly disagree. I hate this guy with an absolute passion. And for
Yeah,
two reasons. One, it's the crappy version of Deku. He doesn't do the meme big plays, and he just seems like a less interesting version of Deku 1 in that regard. Yeah, I
yep.
understand the eventual style of play is completely different, but
hmm
just I liked the old Deku, and this one feels like a bad Deku comparison.
It, it feels like the opposite, right? Because the first deck was very, very a thinky deck. This is a here's an attack, here's an attack, here's an attack, big damage, big damage, big damage, and you just have to deal with everything.
Kinda,
Um,
yeah.
deck.
The other reason I hate this deck is you are running 18 different cards at less than a 4 of. Most of my decks don't even have 18 different cards.
Fair. I've cut one of
And
them.
this is a deck that cares about you having multiple copies of things.
I know. It's worse because one of the cards that I play four of is not even really a card in the deck, right? It's just a cycle card. So
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be this any means necessary here, which, yeah, genuinely, anytime you discard it, it's just draw a card. There is no reason to consider that an actual real card in the deck. It just
yeah,
reduces your deck size by 4 and also makes your discard free one time,
yep.
which is absolutely wild and stupid.
And oh, it's a bad block. Don't care. Discard it with Deku. I can do that on your turn.
But yeah, it was a real pain in the neck putting together the image for this deck list because you put so many goddamn cards in it for no reason.
There is a reason every card is kind of necessary. So
Not if it's only a 2 of, it's not.
yeah, so broadly speaking, I try to first do like at least two of each card and then start cutting the cards I don't use that often. So right now I already cut a few cards like passing the torch, but also something like new trading method will be cut to make more 3 and 4 offs. In fact,
Okay.
after those two are cut, everything will be 3 or 4 off, essentially.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we start with Deku's Enhance and Response because they're kind of what drive the deck. On their own, they're decent. They're good, actually. They're good. Enhance, discard one card. Your punch attack, it's +1/+3. That's
Yep.
good. Now imagine you have cards out which react to being discarded, such as if the card is discarded, you draw a card. Any means necessary. Or things like One with Nature. If you discard a card, you get a damage. So that makes it a +1/+4. And then imagine that you can just build multiple One with Natures once you have one with Nature out because of your second response. So every game you'll have 2 or 3 One with Natures out, sometimes 4. And so you can just discard a card and get +1/+5 damage on average. That's ridiculous. And it gets more ridiculous once you start really like digging into what the other cards allow you to do and how they extend your turns like crazy. I think every good deck needs to play it. It's just back alley haymaker. It's the first card you play if you have it in hand. You stun 2 and then you build something or draw 1. That's it. That's what this card does.
Yeah,
And
so
if you
one
need
way
to-
or the other, it perpetuates your turn. On a
Yeah.
bad check, it's basically a 4 difficulty. On a good check, it's basically a -1 to your next attack.
Yep. And if I have pull more punches, it's just draw more cards because I don't care about my checks at that point, but we'll get there. You also have the X2, which can come in clutch if you have a bunch of momentum, and this deck doesn't need... it uses momentum very well, but it doesn't need massive amounts of momentum. So if you have like 3 momentum for any reason, you might like just discard 2 for EX4, right? To +4 speed. So yeah, really can become a really big attack and just become like a 10 damage unblockable attack very early on. Stun 2, draw card, build, just a obvious choice in this deck. Hardened Jab, yeah, I mean, just add a card to your hand because you need more cards in hand.
And ready a foundation in the process.
And ready foundation in process. Actually, even when you don't ready foundation, I still sometimes pick up the face down.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a draw.
It's still a draw,
You
yeah.
don't lose anything.
Exactly. And sometimes you put an attack there so the next Hardened Jab can pick up the attack later
Yeah.
on, which is pretty decent. I've also done things where I picked up a flip foundation that I wanted to replay, like a Destined for Major Success, if it was early game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a good card. Like, it's Hardened Jab. Hardened Jab doesn't need introductions, right? Valiant Assault. Okay, so that card is absolutely insane, and I can't believe I only played 2 of them early on because this card can extend your turns like crazy. especially if you can clear your cardboard. I mean, just draw 2 cards. There's not much to be said about that. You draw 2 cards. It's a 4 diff, so it's very easy to play as you suck and attack. And I guess when you deal damage, you can look at top card of your deck to get rid of bad checks, but potentially. So that's nice. Then I guess 1 for all full coupling, 5% strike. The reason why I'm playing this card is, well, it's a very good low block. And you don't really care about discarding your hand, because when you play this card, it's going to be like your 3rd attack, really. And at that point, you already discarded your hand anyway, with Deku 2 and with 1 with Nature.
Not when you've drawn off back alley haymaker, you don't.
That is true. That is true. It depends on the turn. It depends on the exact hand that you have. But yeah, it can be like your 3rd, 4th, 5th card, whatever. Like, you'll be able to play more than 4 or 5 cards. And progressive won't really matter that much. Just a good card. You discard your hand, you draw 3 cards. Even better if one of the cards that you discard is any means necessary, because then you draw 4 in total.
Yep.
I've done turns where that was my only really good attack in hand. So what I did is just play 3 foundations, like pull-up punches, 1 with Nature that I didn't find early on, and then just 1 for all. I mean, I just got my hand, I redraw 3 cards. I don't really care all that much about that, and I build 2 foundations anyway. So, yeah, good card. Wind-up punch is only there because I used to play 4 wind-up punches instead of 1 for alls, and I didn't really find anything to replace it with. I could just play another 1 for all. But having that 1 wind-up punch has helped me, so I just kept it in there. It's decent. It's kind of nice when you go against characters which build a lot. I had one game against Muscular where they were in deadlock. So play wind-up punch, discarding a card, and then you have pull-up punches, which gives everything stun 1. Just stun the entire board, really. So, still a good card. It's definitely a choice. I think I prefer the 1 for all, but wind-up punch, still pretty good. And then Full Power Clash. Okay, so this is the card that I play because I don't have Texas Smash, and I'm glad I played it because I think in this deck it's particularly better. Full Power Clash gives you +1/+1 for every copy of a chosen foundation. Now, you can choose face-down foundations, but they don't count as copies of each other. But in case you need to, that's +1/+1.
Yeah, weird that they count as +1/+1, because I would argue that the face-down foundation is not a copy of the face-down foundation.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. Like, yeah.
My rules knowledge, I would have thought it would be 0, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, that's actually a valid point. But realistically, you're going to have face-up foundations. Your Deku 2 builds copies of foundations that you already have, so that this attack can become pretty big pretty quickly. Realistically, this is a +2/+2, but very often this becomes a +3/+3, and very rarely, but sometimes it becomes a +4/+4. So it's a 4 diff 5/5, really, what you're playing here. And it has powerful too. You just got a card in your hand for Deku, +1/+3, and that's very big damage already, just for this card.
Yeah, and 6 speed as well.
And 6 speed, yeah. Yeah, I like this card. It's a common, and it's a +1 mid block as well, so it's really good for blocking. I guess it doesn't really work in many decks where you don't play multiple copies of a foundation, but in this deck, it's just...
Yeah, it's not that great in the average deck, but Deku does enable it.
Yeah.
Now, Capture Evildoers, I want to mention. I run Capture Evildoers for that first enhance. That first enhance is insane. It turns on all my 1. It makes him work. His deck does not function without either that or something like Cremation.
Yep.
You don't care about that at all.
Sometimes
you very occasionally use it.
Yeah.
But it's not why this is here. You don't care about it.
Nope.
What you care about is that momentum.
Yeah. This card is ridiculous. Because it's like, if I just read you any of the other parts of the card, you would say this is a good card. You just play it, right? +1 mid block with Breaker 1. Decent. Remove 1 rival foundation. Steal a momentum, right? Decent. These 2 things together make the card busted. I didn't even know the form was a thing because I never read that far into the card. And this was one of the cards that made me play this deck. Because if you're able to just draw more and more cards and put things into your momentum, and then clear your card pool, well, then you just have a second turn right after that. And you just keep doing that over and over again. And it just gets insane. You're just drawing 2 more Capture Evildoers. I might even add another one. You can play this as a 4-off, really. I might add a 4th one. So the way you do it is you play something like Back Alley Haymaker, draw a card, then play Valiant the Soul, draw 2 more cards, and then play Capture Evildoers. You discard 3 cards from your card pool.
Capture Evildoers doesn't discard 3 cards from your card pool. It discards 2 cards in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So any 3, but yeah, ideally it's your 3rd card that you play. And then you just restart your turn, and that's it.
Although, that said, you might want to play it as your 4th card come the next set, because we then have a card which specifically discards a non-attack card coming in the pre-release. and draw you
Oh,
a new
yeah, that
card.
one. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to play that one, but that would definitely be something worth considering, yeah.
Well, I
Mhm.
would say every deck on Symbol should be playing that card because it's just a free clear your card pool slightly, draw a new replacement card. It's basically a none card like your Any Means Necessary is.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, yeah. That is true. Well, actually, that's a good point, yeah. I might then. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. But yeah, this is a crazy card. Like, any other of the parts of this card is good, and I don't use it because I just want that form.
Yeah.
Too good. Yeah, and it synergizes very well with the next foundation that we're seeing, the real foundation. Destroy, add one punch attack from your card pool to your momentum. This allows you to clear your card pool a little bit, which is what Capture Evildoers does, and then you have momentum.
Yep.
So you can use Capture Evildoers as well.
So you use
And
Capture Evildoers as your 4th card after getting rid of one of your other attacks.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. And the Deadlock Enhance has come up. At this point, I run 3 Polar Punches because it's just that good. You want to see it early on. Clear your card pool, remove 1 progressive, which is better than having that 1 extra foundation. Also, you get very easily into Deadlock with this deck. So being able to remove foundations from your card pool is really good. I mean, I guess I'll mention it. Right, now we come to the card that is about to be banned. One with Nature. I don't think it needs introduction.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about what it does for the deck already, right?
Yeah. You don't even use that first enhancement that often. You use it only if you have 1 full 5% full culling, because then you want to get rid of the cards in hand because they're going to get discarded anyway. Otherwise, it's there for the response. And the more you have, the more damage you get. Yep. It's ridiculous. Special is sound, stable card. Good for blocking and good for telling you what the next card is, especially if you want to play mainstream success or if you want to know whether you can pass your check. Which is good.
Yeah, I swear it's the best burst foundation.
Yeah, it's really good. New training method. That one is really only there to pick up one with natures if you don't find them early on and you check them. But I'm probably going to replace them now that one with nature is going to be banned anyway, and because there's better foundations there that I want to play.
So if you don't need to pick up the one with nature, you just genuinely don't need that card then.
There's other cards I would want to pick up, but it doesn't really come up that often, to be fair. Definitely other cards I would like to play in this deck, and they are high blocks as well, so new training method is like a very easy swap. There's one card which is a high block and it's a 4 check as well, but it's a 1 div, and it's if I discard it, I get +1/+1. So like,
oh, fair, yeah.
Yeah, like that's even better. Passing the Torch was for card draw. Don't play it anymore because you don't need it, but it's decent.
Yeah, but it's a 2 diff and the commit cost.
Yeah, I would
so
say
many
you draw
decks I've found, it's a great card, but it's just sort of been power scaled out of usefulness in a lot of decks.
Yeah. You draw so much that what you prefer is being able to extend your turns, so you should work towards that. And a card that commits does not help you to extend your turn.
Exactly.
Determined might bump it up to 3 or 4. It just makes all of your blocks a 0 block. So any means necessary if you wanted to becomes a 0 block because it's a 5 block otherwise. 6 check, great. It's just a good card.
So I wouldn't bump Determined up. Because as much as it does set your block modifiers to 0, the fact that you have to commit 1 means they're basically setting them to 1. Yeah, if it's a 2 mid, sure, fine, I guess that's okay. But anything lower than a 2, it's not worth it at all. And just bearing in mind, we're losing 1 with nature from the format, which is the only thing that ups your block modifiers.
Yeah.
I don't think Determine's anywhere near as necessary as it was.
Definitely, I agree with that. Yeah, it was in part because of 1 with nature, because it's just completely obliterates the effect.
I don't think you take it out.
The 6 check's still pretty good. So
the 6 check's still good. Yeah. You do still have some high block modifiers. I think it's still worth running the 2, but I don't think it's worth going up to 4.
Yeah, that might be it. The only reason I would put it up is because of Deku's effect, really. Just more synergy with that. But it depends on what I take out, yeah. Destined for Maximum Success, yeah, great card. 4 off.
Free card, draw, free check, fixing.
Draw. And there's going to be one card that I'm going to put in the deck, which is going to make this card even more busted. Which is a card that just puts your momentum off the top of your deck. Even if you don't get an attack out of it.
You're running Celebrity Status then.
Celebrity Status, yeah. So you can put an attack on top of your deck after you do piling low punches, and then you can draw it with Destined for Amazing Success.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not running that already, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure about it, but it just sounds really good.
Fantastic card.
Yeah, I didn't run 3 polar punches back then. It was this deck list with 2. I think with 3 it really makes sense because then you can put your punch in there, put it on top of your deck, and then draw it right away.
So the way you're thinking about doing it is just award the victor but with extra steps? Why
Yeah.
not cut out the middleman? Run a couple copies of a 3-diff. I've got spares if you need them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it on good?
I mean, it's an all-might card. Of course it's on good.
Oh, yeah, that could be reasonable, yeah. Right now, I thought more about it synergized with Polyno Punches, but yeah, I might consider it. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I mean,
Is,
that basically works with pull no punches, kinda.
is it a unique ability?
Yeah, it's a unique card. You
Uh,
don't want more than 2 of it, really, but
I don't like unique abilities in this deck, to be fair.
it
That would
also
be
flips for effect, so
yeah. It's more the fact that I can't build it with Deku, you know? But
yeah.
it's definitely worth considering then, yeah.
You can, however, build it with new training method to get around the fact that it's a 3-diff.
That is true, yeah. That is true. I could.
It's just worth
I,
considering because I've been playing that in Ball Might and it's absolutely insane there.
yeah,
It's
no, I
just
can see
after
that.
your attack
Yeah.
deals 6 damage, put it on top of the deck, then draw it again.
Oh, I need to deal damage with it. I see. I like having the flexibility of just doing it even if it doesn't deal damage.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Especially with,
saying you can't run both.
no, I see your point. High value targets, just
I don't
good
see why you're
foundation.
not running 4 of that. It's fantastic on symbol and it interacts crazily with your character.
Yeah, because the responsibility of the character happens when you check,
Yeah.
not when you pass
Not
the check.
when you pass the check. So before you commit foundations to pass your check, you commit a foundation to build in an extra copy of the high value target that you just checked, right?
Yep.
You take the card you checked out your discard pile, you put the high value target in. Now high value target's committing as if it was 2 rather than the 1 of whatever foundation you already committed to put it there.
Yep.
You've basically just got +1 to your check because you checked a 5.
Yeah.
And
So I
so
checked
if you
6
needed
bits.
a 7, you committed 1 foundation, built 1 foundation, got a 7.
Yeah. So it essentially becomes another 6 check in my deck.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. The reason why I'm playing 3 is the same reason I said before. I was testing out a few foundations. This is still like an early version of the deck, actually, to see which are more important and which are not, and then try to cut around that, yeah.
Note taking, I don't feel like you needed before. I never saw it used, but at the same time, I feel like that might change now that One with Nature's gone.
True, yeah. I'll probably bump it up to 4, really. I have used it. I have used it quite a bit, yeah, actually. To like just push that one attack that I want to be going through. I've done that. It's not the most important card in there, but I thought it was decent.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely
it's a good card. It's
yeah, it's a
just,
flex.
I don't think it was necessary in the version you had.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it necessary. True. I
It
wouldn't call it
replaces
necessary.
One with Nature in
Yeah.
terms of the pseudo speed.
Yeah, One with Nature is going to be 1 note taking, 1 more specialized sound waves, and then I'm probably going to cut 2 more low blocks, 4 more mid blocks because I'm missing a few of them now that I rearranged the deck. I mean, it's always been a valid choice, but it's not going to be necessary the way other cards were. Self-sacrifice I would consider quite necessary. And that's because you very quickly go into deadlock. So you need to be able to destroy foundations if you don't want to be punished for that.
Well, it's also, you've got 2 self-sacrifice in play, you've got 12 foundations, just +2 damage at everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get rid of all your committed stuff, plus damage all your already fairly big attacks. Make every single one of them lethal. Eventually, your opponent's not going to be able to block.
Yeah, it's good. This is kind of one of the foundations that early on in the game I didn't like because it destroys foundations, but now I'm like sold on it. Just the ability to, really just the ability to get you off deadlock is enough for me, but the +1 damage is just, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot, especially now that when Nature is gone, right?
Well, I mean, I ran it in my original Tsuyu build, and it absolutely was completely necessary.
Yeah, I could even almost combine it with Small Limber. The only problem there is the enhance doesn't do anything, so it would really just be a thing that readies
Doesn't
itself.
matter, it's worth it just for readying itself.
Yeah, that could be something worth considering. It can't be fixed is I don't know why anyone would play fewer than 4. If you could play 8, I would play 8. If I could play 12, I would play 12.
I don't think I would play 12.
Well,
I think
12
I
is
would
good.
quite like to have more foundations.
True.
But 8 is valid.
8 is valid, yeah. 12, at that point, you just don't have foundations that do much.
Yeah. I mean, Battle Resolve is nice, but if it's a choice between Battle Resolve and it can't be fixed, goes up to 6.
100%, yeah. Yeah, 1 high block, good. Stun hate, good. More building, good. Battle Resolve, I bumped up to 3 because I removed one of the passing the torches. I guess the ability to just get multiple battle resolves to your deck with effect, and then be able to commit multiple copies to give +3 speed or -3 speed is decent.
Commit
It has
2
gone up.
foundations, -3 speed is
Is
basically just the same as -1 speed.
yeah,
It's not great.
it's nice when you know the opponent is about to stun you anyway. Just feels
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And it's good on
Um,
offense,
it's more the +3
but on
speed that's
defense,
good.
it's
Yeah,
kind of meh.
it's definitely a flex spot. I play it mostly for the 0 diff. Otherwise, there's better
Yeah.
mid blocks that I want to play.
There are better
Um,
zero diffs, as said. If you could run 6 it can't be fixed, you would.
oh yeah, of course, definitely, definitely. I've never used the commit flip after lose health, gain 1 health. That might be.
No.
I don't know if that's ever been relevant, so I never use it.
It was relevant to one of my other opponents playing Recovery Girl, but I don't think it's relevant to you.
Yeah, I would say though 2 is awkward. If anyone wants to play this, I would bump it up to 3 and cut the 2 passing the torches, just to have
Oh,
a
I'd
few.
absolutely cut the passing the torches. They're not
Yeah,
necessary, and more zero diffs is always nice.
yeah. And if you play this, at least you want to play at least 3, so you can get 2 out, so you have potentially +3 speed. But
Yeah,
it's not like your best fun. It's by a long shot like your best foundation.
yeah. So I would like to point out, in some matchups, because this is a responsive card, it can't be fixed, is basically blank. Even then,
That is true.
those stats are wild.
You just have it in hand, +1 high block.
Yeah.
That's nice. Otherwise, you would have to sacrifice an attack like Hardened Jab for that, and that's an attack you want. So
Yeah. And that's the thing. These 2 foundations are both from the first set, and you can tell because the block modifiers are so much better.
oh yeah, yeah, true. 1 low, 1 high. That's
Yeah.
great. Just fantastic. Actually, yeah, self-sacrifice might be the other low block that I have to add now that
Yeah, I would.
All with Nature is gone. It's just so good. It's
You don't
ridiculous.
want 4 in play, but I mean, 3 in play didn't seem to hurt you when I faced you the other night.
Yeah, for my last attack, just go bam, but +3 damage. Don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can kill, you can kill. Foundations only matter if you're going further.
True, true. It's actually quite an important card in the deck. It's really important.
Yeah. It's a real good card. It definitely gets underrated. And especially in
Yeah.
a character who is all about building, being able to get rid of them to not go into deadlock, yeah.
So yeah, the thing is, your attacks don't get like crazy speedy.
No, but they all get unpleasantly speedy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 5, 6, and then back alley stuns 2, wind up punch stuns as well because you're going to discard cards.
Yeah, back alley is a 5 with stun 2. One for all full
So-
cowling 5% is a 5.
Yeah, they have to block it. They have to block your attacks, and then once they have 2 things in card pool, at that point it's like, okay, all the attacks are now going through, and they deal like 10 damage, 10 damage.
Yeah, wind up
for reference-
punch is a 5. Hardened
Yeah.
jab is a 4. It's probably your most blockable attack, except maybe Valiant Assault is also a 4. Full power
Yeah.
clash, realistically, probably at least a 6.
Yeah, definitely. I played recently against Muscular, and in my first game, it was a 1-turn kill against a 36 health character. I mean,
Yeah, good
technically,
decks do that.
it's because technically I didn't have 1 turn. Technically, I had 3 turns because I've had pull no punches, and I checked out pull no punches, build it, and then I had momentum, drew into capture evildoers. So I cleared my board so often, my card pool so often, and drew into more and more attacks that like that was it.
Yeah.
There's nothing he could have done with 36 health. Yeah, this deck can sometimes be slow if you early on don't get your cards, but otherwise it just goes wild. It just gives you 2 or 3 turns per turn.
Yeah.
On attacks, and it has decent blocks. It has quite a few 1 blocks. There's a lot of changes that can be done, a lot of attacks and foundations that you could add. We mentioned one before, the celebrity status, being able to pick up momentum after you put it with pull no punches of your deck. You draw
And
because
sure,
you
Destiny for
constantly draw.
mainstream can pick it up, but so can Hardened Jab in the long
Jab.
term. So
Yeah,
can Back Alley Haymaker right away. So can One for All Full Cowling.
Valiant Assault can do
Yeah.
that. Of course, I mean, yeah. If you have 2 things momentum, you have 2 celebrity status. Valiant Assault draws you 2 more cards.
Yeah.
Which, if Valiant Assault was previously in momentum, now you draw more Valiant Assault. So you know
Yeah.
where it is. It's just, yeah. Celebrity status is definitely something to consider.
Yep. And then just let's quickly go over your sideboard.
Yeah. I haven't played too much with it.
You got that wind up punch, or apparently 2.
Yeah. It could be relevant in something which builds a lot, then you stun more, I guess, if you need it.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a nice surprise early deadlock effect as well.
True. 4/7 without
Yeah.
the deck going hands. So mainly something I removed now for more use obvious. Well, once I get more
Oh,
softwares.
fair enough. Yeah, You're So
Um,
Obvious is a fantastic card.
yeah, just good. I
It just
mean,
says no to anybody trying to kill you in one hit.
yeah. And on your last turn, you just pop it right away, so you get plus 2 damage and plus 2 speed right
Yep.
away. So it's
Now,
a
there is an answer to this card.
Mhm.
It's called One with Nature.
Yeah, true. Uh,
One
yeah,
with Nature stops the returning it to printed speed, making it blockable. But One with Nature is not allowed anymore, so You're So
yeah,
Obvious becomes even better. And
yeah.
that's why I was running One with Nature in my All Might 1 deck, was
Mhm,
because it makes You're So Obvious not stop it. It makes plus Ultra not block it for free. It pushes through that attack even through things that say no.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. It's the forecheck that kind of throws me off.
Yeah, the
But
forecheck's not great. It's not something you're going to want in every matchup, but in some matchups, that's going to completely devastate your opponent.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what you want the sideboard for.
exactly, yeah. But yeah, I want this for like opponents like Muscular, where I'm like, oh shit, they're about to do big damage attacks. I need to use obvious, at least just one, and then I can build more with Dagger's effect. Yeah, the reason why so many I'm cutting is because it's unique, and that's really the reason. I don't want too many cards which can't
Yeah,
build themselves, but it's a good card. Without
I get you.
damage, it's a good card. Lost in Thought, I want to replace new training method with it. It's
So you're
good
moving
if
that to the
you
main deck then.
I'm not sure about that. I might. It depends on whether I move male bonding also to main deck because it relies because you want to pick up things. You want to pick up foundations. If you have fun attacks in your foundations, that's pretty nice. Um,
Yeah, it just gives you that extra foundation that could be anything. Pick up with your
yeah,
hard to
it
jab.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the most important bit is it removes a foundation of my choice from the opponent, whatever they have. If they have views so obvious, I get rid of it. It's going to be awkward in the next set where they want to have attacks in foundations, right, to be able to play from them. But
Yeah,
so I could give them opportunity that I otherwise
but
wouldn't
I mean,
want to
that's
give.
only one character.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I can pick up a committed foundation, so it shrinks my stage without necessarily shrinking the number of readied cards in my stage. So that's also
Yep.
decent. There's quite a few cards that can go into this deck. It's still an early build, to be fair.
Yeah. You
And
have
there's
tweaked it a
some,
little since the build you sent me, but I mean,
yeah, there's so many good cards in there that you can play. It's ridiculous.
it's definitely doing well enough as is. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's a lot of
sideboard, I don't know how much that does for you right now.
no,
Male
not much.
Bonding, for example, I don't think that's a sideboard card. I think you main deck that if you play that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
It's
So
definitely.
Obvious absolutely belongs in sideboard. Lost
Mhm.
in Thought, maybe. But
No,
I
I agree.
mean, you're not using your sideboard for too much, I don't think.
I haven't. That's the thing. Usually, the first sideboard I make is just cards that I thought about playing in the deck, but haven't really found space for them. So I just put them in the sideboard for now and see how it goes. So it's not a real sideboard, really.
You're So Obvious is a real sideboard card. The rest of these, I don't think they are.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, coming next set is going to be a lot of attacks, which shows I so well with this. All the deck attacks are so fantastic. Oh my god! Things like
That's
if you have to hit,
interesting because I've looked at
yeah.
them and just gone, well, I'm not playing this in Deku, not playing this in Deku, not playing this in
Oh
Deku.
well,
But
okay.
then I
Imagine you
play
have
a
a
different Deku.
yeah. Imagine you have a card which just says if you have discarded a card during this attack, draw one card.
Yeah, that's not massively useful when my only way of discarding cards is discarding my whole hand.
Yeah, but that means for me that every card just becomes a any means necessary, right?
Yeah.
On this attack. And if it's already a 5/5 speed, it's a speedy attack instead of being a high damage attack. That's pretty nice because my attacks right now are low speed, high damage. And I see
Yeah.
something that's a bit speedier. And discard one card, commit rival foundation.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
see
affordable.
exactly how the new cards work for you.
It's great. I might even just side deck the new Deku for more defensive turns if I want
Yeah.
to literally swap the character. Because the new Deku does almost the same thing on the first enhance, which is discard one card plus 4 well, kind of plus 4 damage. It's
It's
no, sorry,
discard
it's
one
not.
card plus 4 damage over 2
Yeah,
enhances, but also you
yeah,
can
true.
discard momentum as well if you feel like for extra
Right,
damage.
yeah, true. That's how it works. Yeah, your attack gets powerful 4, and then you can discard a card from your hand to pay
Yeah.
for it. That's how
You
it
don't
works.
get the
Yeah,
plus speed,
yeah,
which
it
sucks because
true.
the plus speed actually does a ton for your deck.
So
But I
it's a
mean,
choice.
if you're against somebody who plays like Odoro used to play, plus speed doesn't even matter because they don't defend.
Yeah, or like muscular, where I'd rather have really big damage attacks
Yeah, that's the thing. Muscular, you don't care if your attacks are blocked as long as the ones that go through don't give them too much.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
just
will
like
say
a.
also, Rock Clock is
Mhm,
huge come next format. Rock
mhm.
Clock gets to just say basically freeze 80 of foundations every turn.
Oh, right, there was something about
So
that.
you never have anything ready. So the
Mhm.
ability to just burst through and kill him in one attack is very important.
Yeah.
So against him, you definitely want that powerful 4.
Yeah, Deku 4 feels like a side grade to this Deku. It's not a different Deku. It's weird, and I like that.
It's a side grade to this Deku, but it's also Cassie Cage.
Mhm. I don't know Cassie Cage, but I
Well,
assume that's
clearly
it.
you didn't play enough Mortal Kombat, but
Yeah, didn't.
she did basically the same thing, but on tech attacks.
You do lose out on the response, I guess, which is pretty good here. But you gain other things. You can just draw 3 cards on your opponent's turn when it starts, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
'Cause
at
that's
the
literally
cost
what
of
you
having one less card during your turn.
Yeah, true.
Which, I mean,
But you
that's
draw.
hardly even a cost, the number of things you draw in a turn.
Yeah, I could literally just swap the Dekus, and it still function probably really well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I just really like the design of the new Deku, of the blue head Deku. That's why I want to play him. And I'm glad that a lot of these cards, yeah, almost all these cards are Deku cards. The attacks. The only one is Hardened Jab that isn't.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I could
Well,
replace
I'm
it with.
kind of Valiant Assault, but there is a Deku version of Valiant Assault now.
Oh yeah, play 3 of those. I want a 4th one, but it's a bit expensive, and why not just play the old version?
Oh, you need one? I've got one if you need.
It's just the cost. Is it worth it when I can play this version of Valiant Assault? Maybe.
The cooler
I don't
Valiant
know.
Assault.
Yeah, I definitely want more Full Power Clash as XR. That's the only XR attack I want. Just because it's the kill card, but it's a common. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted it to be shiny. I wanted it to be shiny.
Yeah.
It's so weird because like it's a replacement to Texas Smash in this deck. When
I
Texas
really
Smash
think
is
you
a
could run
tank
Texas
spell.
Smash as well.
I could
You
definitely.
just don't
Yeah,
need to.
I don't
And,
need
you
to.
know, not
And I
paying for
prefer.
Texas Smash. Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we might play Texas Smash. Who knows? I'm thinking more Rewind Throttle, to be honest, instead of Hardened Jab. Not because it's a better card, just because it's a Deku card, and I want this to be Deku themed. That
God
was.
damn it. With theming your deck, just make it good.
It's good. It's good.
It is good already,
It
but
literally runs in good.
why would you take Hardened Jab out?
No, it's a really good card. I'm not gonna lie, but I just want to play Deku. You know, it reminds me of playing the starter deck Deku, the demo one, but it's actually good. You know,
But with weird ears
but with weird ears. Yeah.
and giant hair antennae.
Basically.
That's totally Deku's thing. Anyway, I think we've rambled at the end of this for a bit long.
Yep.
We've talked about what One with Nature does with this. We've talked about how we'll replace it now it's banned. And we've talked about the point of every card in the deck.
Yep.
I think that's enough. It's a very successful deck. It does the job. I don't personally like it. I think this is a stupid Deku. And I don't like the fact that I had to spend so long mocking up this image for the video. But yeah, give it a go. It is still worth playing for anyone interested. And I have a slight variation on this that I'll be showing you all in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for showing off this deck, and catch you all again next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.